Hi guys, I'm doing Temperance today, and I'm Charlotte from Charlie's Angel Tarot on YouTube and maybe in Buddy Advice on Facebook. For those who follow the series of the Mythic Tarot and my explanation and what I think about it, this is Temperance, and Temperance is balance mainly, and Temperance is number 9 in this deck. This is a pagan tarot deck, and you can see so much in this deck. It is a good deck if you have, well, also for a beginner, but more for the more mature or secondary reader of tarot. Um, Wyatt Waite's is the best deck for a beginner, as it contains numbers at the bottom or the top and not only the name. The lady here, Juliet Sharman Burke and Liz Green, have come back down to Mother Earth, or the earthly vision of it, the way the pagans believe Mother Earth should be simple and give and take. That sort of philosophy. And that's what they keep on finding, and it comes back into in this tarot deck, and it explains it beautifully. It was also Greek and Roman culture, as you can see by the clothes that are depicted on the card. It also has very plain drawing, and it keeps it to the bare minimum, so the Mother Green Earth does not shy away from the rest of the glamorous things that are happening and trying to tell the story of the video. So let's get started. Well, it's first of all very interesting who this person is, and she is we meet the goddess Iris here, and she's the goddess of the rainbow and the messenger to Hera, the queen of gods. Okay, well, this is, as you can see, Temperance and number 9. So number 9 means, this is numerology, number 9 is an end of a phase and a new beginning, because the cards usually only go from 1 to 10. And 1 is a new beginning and 10 is an end, and in numerology you bring it back to one figure, so that would be a 1 again. And that's the small arcana, and we'll get back to that later. Once we've done the big arcana, Temperance is a card of the big arcana, and that's number 9 in most decks. Temperance, the card Temperance portrays a beautiful black-haired woman. I would say more dark brown, but everybody to their own. This young woman is garbed with the rainbow in her dress and in her wings, bearing also on her wings, like I said. She stands with 1 foot in the water and 1 foot in the earth, as you can see. I've made a picture of it, so perhaps the picture will be clearer, but because this is now running as a video, just keep on watching the video and see before the video starts what the picture looks like. Okay. And you can see that we've got purple irises here, and that representing her name, the goddess Iris, the goddess of the rainbow and the messenger. Also that heaven and earth is connected. It just goes to show that the universe is here. She's also depicted as an angel because she's got the angel wings, and she holds 2 cups, and 1 cup is silver and the other cup is gold. This represents also something, but she's trying to pour water from 1 cup to the other and trying to balance it. The rainbow appearing as the sunshine through departing clouds here, right, symbolizes promise and the renewal of relationships. It's also a bridge between heaven and earth, like I said, and relationships. Again, suggesting that these relationships, the gold and the silver cups, they represent the masculine and the feminine, and also the moon and sun, the consciousness and the unconsciousness, uh, joined by flow of feeling. So you can see it, but you can also feel it. And the polarity between water and earth, where Iris is standing on, again reflects the capacity to unite opposites within the individual. So our masculine and feminine are united by all the symbols of joining together, like the foot in the water signs, the water side of us joining to the earth side of us, and that's the body. So that could be spiritual, because water is spirituality and intuitivity, and earth is our matter, our brain, our heart. This is how I interpret it. Here we see, like I said, here we meet Iris, the goddess of the rainbow and the messenger to Hera, the queen of the gods. Iris was the feminine counterpart to Hermes, and Hermes, Zeus' emissary, and was beloved by both gods and mortals because of her kind, loving nature. If Hera or Zeus wished to make their will known to men, Iris flew highly down to the earth, where she either borrowed mortal shape or appeared in her divine form. That's the angel side of her, that of a beautiful winged woman. Sometimes she cleaved the air as swiftly as the wind, the west wind. Zephyrus, who was her consort, at other times she glided down the rainbow which bridged sky and earth. She swept through the waters with equal ease. Even the underworld opened before her, when, at the command of Zeus, she went to refill her golden cup with the waters of the Styx. That's the river, if you remember in the other card. Styx separates the earth from the underworld. So there we are, the river Styx comes back again, by which the immortals bound themselves with fearful oaths, when the gods returned to Olympus from their journeys. Iris would unharness the steeds from the chariots. We saw this in the chariot as well. And give the travellers nectar and ambrosia. Nectar, that's like honey, and ambrosia, I don't really know what that is, but there is rice, a tin of rice, and in England, and it's called ambrosia, so that's rice and milk, so that could be also milk ambrosia. Iris not only delivered Hera's messages, but also effected her vengeance, although often she offered help and care. She prepared Hera's bath, helped her with her toilet, and night and day stood at the foot of her mistress' throne. In one version of the myth, it was Iris rather than Aphrodite who gave birth to Eros, the god of love. So you might, in this, the story, the myths are always legends and fairy tales, and they are derived from history and culture. So it can differ from everybody else's interpretation. So here she's Iris, but now they say in some stories, in some cultures, she's also known as Aphrodite, that she gave birth to Eros, sorry. On another level, Iris, god goddess of the rainbow, is an image of the second of qualities or faculties which the fool must learn to form a stable individuality, a balanced heart, where Athena, who embodies justice, is fair and objective. Iris, who embodies temperance, is kind of merciful, although her sympathy is neither mawkish nor sentimental. Iris is connected with the function of feeling, which is different from what we call emotion. Feeling, you can feel it, but you don't show your emotions. Okay? And it's quite, yeah, it's like she can be earthly because she's like masculine, feminine. She's everything. She's a goddess, so she can turn on her emotions, so she can be merciful, like they said, or she can be really businesslike. So it's quite, it just shows you how thin the borderline is between anger and love, and happiness and sadness, masculine and feminine. Like I said, feeling, yeah, feeling you can see, and it is a reaction to a situation as to active intelligent faculty of choice. Um, the function of feeling is constantly changing, bridge between opposites, a careful sensing of the needs of particular situation with the goal of harmony and relationship at the end. Thus, Iris pours water ceaselessly back and forth from one cup to another because feeling must constantly flow and renew itself according to the requirements of the moment, where Athena ethical precepts are necessarily static and universal. Iris's goal of harmony requires a perpetual flood or fluid adjustment of feelings, sometimes positive and sometimes negative. Thus, she can offer solitude, care, or affect Hera's vengeance. But ultimately she serves the feminine realm rather than the masculine, and whatever the changing responses of the flow, even anger and conflict, the goal is always cooperation, harmony, and better relationships. We do not ordinarily think of feeling as an intelligent function, like rational thought, yet the two cards of justice and temperance stand as an opposite and as complements, uh, and it complements each other. Athena and Iris are two contradictory images, one serving the father from whose head she had sprung from, that is justice, the other the mother, who is upholding abstract truth, even at the expense of the individual heart, the other protecting individual heart, even at the expense of the abstract truth. That's justice. Although these goddesses were not enemies in the myth, for Iris was once enemy, yet they can be enemies within us, for they will often offer different solutions to the same problem. Do we make a decision based on rational thought, or on the dictates of what our feelings tell us is the appropriate path for the preservation of the relationship? The presence of these two figures in the sequence in the major arcana suggests that the Fool, who is really each one of us, must integrate both, thus having learned through Athena and think clearly, the fool encounters Iris, the goddess of the rainbow, and must learn the delicate assessment of feeling, which is so different from wild reactive emotion or hypocritical sentimentality. But even Iris, the god of the rainbow, can be ambivalent. The constant shifting of feeling to preserve relationship can produce stagnation. Well, there you go. If you are trying to adjust constantly and nothing is stable and it's not in balance, then you know it dies. Something dies within you anyway, and that's your emotions. Your emotions, your feelings die. What I'm trying to say is, if you are in a relationship and you are growing, trying to understand and adjust to keep the peace and the love, and the other one doesn't, your partner doesn't grow with you, then the love dies at a certain moment. And that's, we, each of us should strive for this, to keep the balance also between each other. Because nothing but, sorry, I'll start again. The constant shifting of feeling to preserve relationship can produce stagnation, because nothing but feeling makes it impossible to breathe. Nothing can be talked about, no differences discussed, no conflicts that might lead to growth, because harmony is all. Such a state allows not room for separateness, or separateness. For separateness threatens aloneness. There you go. That's what I just said. If you don't grow with each other, then you separate. And Iris, who is friend to both gods and mortals, and can function on every level of life, must yet always devoutly serve someone, and cannot exist in her own right. Thus temperance without justice. So justice can't survive without temperance, the sisters. Stagnant water where no change is allowed to occur, and the mind suffocates from sphere of boredom. Like I said, if you don't grow with each other, you don't talk to each other, you don't have balance within yourself, and the other has balance in their self, then you can't have balance between you two. Then it becomes stagnant and it dies, it suffocates. So basically, temperance signifies that there should be a flow, always continuing, something always continuing, be it love, gentleness, understanding, caring, nurturing. One has to take care of the other, and the other has to take care of their own. And as she represents temperance and balance, and also this is also what should be in a marriage or a happy relationships. We are challenged every single day to maintain that balance, and that is the moral of the story. We can't do without one or the other. Like, if we want to live a full life, and that's why when I say with the Two of Swords, she's crossed her heart and her emotional chakra, because emotional chakra is just situated there. You've closed it off. You close the sadness off, but you also close the happiness off. Um, it's like day and night, man and woman, the masculinity and the femininity in each other of us, and that is what temperance um, represents. We have to have both, and to respect both and learn that, and that's how you maintain the balance. Okay, I think that is a lovely picture, and I love the picture of the rainbow, because like I always say, that is a sign that the angels are there with us, and that heaven and earth is connected. And if you look at the videos of the quantum physics, you can actually see these colors in the video, in the film. It is, yeah, that's another subject, but it is so interesting. I hope you've enjoyed this little video, and let me know in the comments below what you think of it. Take care and God bless.